Dear God, I've done all I could based upon my understanding and know-how to try to effect the societies in where I have lived to such a degree that it represented peace beyond the citizens and prosperity and joy. I have failed humongously. And I find myself, dear God, in a situation where, though I prayed many times asking for direction, and tonight I find myself here praying again, asking not for direction, but for courage. Father, there are so many people in this world who are poor. There are so many Americans who are poor. There are so many Minnesotans who are poor. And yes, I understand that it didn't happen overnight. Everybody played a part in it. The very wealthy played a part in it. The middle class played a part in it, and the poor. And it seems as if everybody is a loser, even the 1% who got all the money, who have taken everything. They will eventually find that they are losers as well. As I look back over the years that I have lived, I watch presidents come up and speak for the very wealthy. And they all applaud, and that's the stuff that makes the news, and it's constant, and everybody is smiling. And people who don't even understand what's going on think it must be a good thing for people to be having fun like that. Even had the poor thinking that maybe hope was possible. It affected me in such a way. When Ronald Reagan was president, I found myself in the military. And I chose to disregard all of the rules and regulations and the authority of the presidency as far as my being obedient to the commanding officers of the Navy. I refused to take any orders. I'd rather receive an honorable, or should I say, I'd rather receive a dishonorable discharge than to listen to the pain and play a part in the pain and suffering that Ronald Reagan brought on people. Now, as I watch social media, Facebook, YouTube, and others, I find the poor suffering and crying out and crying out and crying out as if they would hope that somebody in some position of power would help them. And it seems that there is no power in the human sense that can deliver them. I've tried. So many others have tried. And the ones that seem to have been making progress have all been killed, shot by those who have robbed the middle class, who have robbed the poor. It's not a mystery. Most of us who are thinking know what's going on. But we don't have anything, dear God, and there's nothing that seems that we can do about it. We know we could stop this thing any moment. We can take control of our own lives and refuse to commit suicide before we let rich people walk all over us. But we don't want to die, and we've been taught that God would punish us if we took our own lives. And yet, while we might not take our own lives, we'd give up our lives in a minute. All you got to do is give us an order. Join the military. Join this, join that. And we'll come walking like a soldier ready to do whatever your wills are. And when we do that, we find that those who have committed, atrocities to others, God, those who have killed others for the sake of the power structures of the world, they come back home and can't even get health care, can't even get treatment, can't get housing. And yet, they're willing to jump back in the saddle and go fight again. All you got to do is call them. When I think of George W. Bush and George H. Bush and the lies and deceit and who they worked for over their administrative years and how it did nothing for those who needed help the most. As I sit in my mind and reflect on all the very rich people, they are not doing one thing to help the least of these. And any monies that they might contribute is only a farce that's used to protect just t- giving the money in taxes. So they pretend as if they're doing something. But life gets worse. And dear God, as I sit here praying to you, and those who are watching this video are laughing because in their minds you are not going to do one thing. And so they're asking themselves, why am I praying? They don't even believe in prayer. In fact, there was a tool set up by powers that be a long time ago to deceive the people. The power to change things, ladies and gentlemen, is in our hands. I know that for a fact. But dear God, how do we exert it? How do we exercise it? We don't want to be violent. We're not trying to cause pain and suffering to anyone. We don't want to hurt anyone. We just want peace. And we want to share in that which is prosperous, but it won't happen. It's not going to happen. It hasn't happened in all of the years of my life. If I ever had anything, it was because I took a side step and played the game the way the world plays it. But because of what was inside of my spirit, inside of my heart, I could not keep that roll up. And when you get in a situation like this, it seems that everybody's against you. Every government is against you. Your family is against you. Your spouse is against you. Everybody is against you because you cannot put your hands to the plow of the world. And if you put your hands to the plow of the world, you can't put enough grip on it to make those who depend on you happy. And so they are dissatisfied with, and I'm not talking about me only, I'm talking about all of us who suffer, all of us who are poor. And those who do not understand what I'm saying, dear God, today, those who have jobs, they don't understand what's going on out here in the arena for which I speak. They're so busy trying to make it from day to day. And can you blame them? They got to make it from day to day because they don't want to die. Sometimes I just feel like I'm so embarrassed at the outcome of humanity that I just want to put a bullseye on my own heart, on my head, and walk in the public begging those wonderful, rich people to end my life. Just end it. So somebody can get some money, perhaps out of my life, and make their lives a little bit better. Isn't that a shame? And listen, God, for all of the people who are listening, for whatever reason, to this prayer, they hear me, and they do not expect you to do a thing. But that's not important. The question is, do I expect anything from you? Yes, Lord, I do. I know you quite well. I know you are a magnificent, wonderful, wonderful God. And I know that you're not going to do everything we ask you to do. You are a great God. And you gave the power for us to straighten the situation out ourselves. But we're cowards. We are cowards. We are not ISIS. We're not the terrorist groups that's going around saying to hell with you, and we're going to destroy you. No, ladies and gentlemen, and God, I have also found out that the powers that be are the ones that's financing these destructive agencies, these killer machines. It is the richest people on earth who are not satisfied with their wealth alone. They need power. When I sit back and think about New Orleans, and I think about Hurricane and everything they went through, when I think about FEMA with all these trailers and things that they brought out as if they were going to use them and stuck those people in that facility for athletics or whatever, only to let us know that those houses were for a time when they felt that we would have to be put under martial law. And there are those who are thinking that poor people should do everything they possibly can to affect the rich so that they are just as poor as everybody else. There are people who think and advocate that the poor should affect the rich in such a way that they feel, and when you look at them, you see no difference. I can't advocate that. I don't want anybody to do anything to me that would cause me pain and suffering. So I don't want to do anything to anyone else that would cause them pain and suffering. But how do we work this out, God? How do we work it out? I got people saying that the weather, that you are using the weather to kind of straighten things up, only to find out when I do my research that the weather has been taken over by man. Man can handle the weather almost as much as you can and direct it where it wants it to go, just like you can. And while you might be generous and nice and kind and give us rain to help the crops to grow, give us rain so water can be available to do the things that we require water to do, others do it to control and manipulate and hurt. And dear God, we need your guidance. We need you to tell us what to do in your spiritual kind of way. Because apparently, the practice of what needs to be done has no strength. And so, for the most part, we as sufferers do not know what to do without becoming as evil and low down and dirty as those who got. And if we have to become like that, then is it truly worth it? I know you, Lord. I know you. I know you're good. I know you got power. You've taken care of me all of my life. From the time I came in this world, you've been looking after me. From the time I picked up this camera to make this presentation, you have been looking after me. You have been what I could count on. Oh, sure, other people have been used as a tool by you to see that I'm able to do here, to be able to say and be here today. But Lord, I want you to know that I want to help others. I want to do things for other people. But basically what I want to do is put things in a flow. That stuff happens automatic based upon the principles that we observe, based upon the policies which we employ. Now, God, I think you understand without me going any further. So I'll just say, I know you can. And I'm not asking you to do anything that you don't want to do. I'm just asking if there's some little way that you can help us. And while I was saying if there's some little way, my heart is hurting. But I don't want you to take my life with a heart attack just to free me from this hell. At least get some use out of me. Some more use. And when I say some more use, don't have me just working to be working. Please, if I have to ask, please, allow something to be accomplished. Allow something to be accomplished in the name of humanity, in the name of righteousness, in the name of goodness and kindness and mercy. For those of you who are listening, look up. You see people with tuxedos on, most of them white, their hair in place, men and women, flying in jets, doing everything they want to do. And the bulk of the people are under them looking up, still thinking that there's a possibility that they might be there one day. and they sacrifice everything else on the hope that they might be there one day. A hope that is as flake is which is as flake as winning the lottery. 1 billion people buy a lottery ticket, knowing it's only going to be one or two people that's going to win. All of us who are suffering out here in America, all of us who are suffering in the world, all are hoping that one day we can rise up. When deep down inside we know if it is, it's only going to be a few of us, but something inside of us keep us thinking that the few that rise up will include us. And since it will include us, and I'm talking about the singular us, we refuse or fail to do those things necessary to protect all of us. I want to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to this prayer. Amen.